Illuminati means illumination. It is the illumination of your mind. You illuminate your mind by understanding how your psyche works, your subconscious, your heart, your brain, and how these things function to create your own reality. It's about gaining unity consciousness. That's why there's one eye in a triangle. The triangle's the number 3, the 3 emanations and expressions of consciousness. Consciousness expresses itself through thoughts, emotions, and actions. There is one eye representing unity, unifying thought, emotion, action to operate in the world efficiently and effectively. Very simple. The reason why we're being controlled is because we do not understand ourselves. The moment you understand yourself, you find your own power and you create your own reality. So the system relies on people being ignorant and not knowing themselves. The brain is not the mind. The mind is the spiritual brain. The brain is the physical manifestation of the mind. As above, so below. As within, so without. The heart is a physical manifestation of the soul. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotions are the language of the soul. And everything we think in the mind directly corresponds with the energy in motion we produce in the heart. Emotion. So if you are depressed, you are choosing to think and receive them thoughts, and you are directly feeling the negative emotions in the heart. So if you meditate and learn to turn off the mind during meditation, you gain the off switch for your mind, and you can select the thoughts you want to think that give you power, instead of being a slave to your negative thoughts and living in depression. Depression is a choice. They've lied to you about geometry. Every frequency has its own geometric pattern. Physical matter is just low vibrating energy at a specific frequency. Everything is vibration, vibrating on a specific frequency, which creates a different geometric pattern. Everything contains geometry. They tell you this is God's mathematical codes behind this reality. The true geometry is within you, and I'm going to explain it in a minute. Firstly, you need to understand the brain is an energy decelerator. Nothing around you is physical, it's energy, and your brain condenses it into a reality that you can interact with. Light enters the eyes, it turns into electricity and goes to the optic nerve to the visual cortex, and it creates an image in the brain. Therefore, you are not in the world is within your brain and body. You're experiencing a simulation by your nervous system. Therefore, geometry is actually your brain's mathematical codes on turning energy into matter. These geometric patterns is basically your brain's way of decoding energy. Everything they teach you is external to keep you looking outside yourself, but it's all internal. You are God in human form. The problem with the world is that we lack understanding of who we are, and what we are doing in this physical reality. Religion is just a way to externalize the God inside of you into someone else that you can worship to give away your power. Jesus and Satan are aspects of your consciousness, the higher mind and the lower mind. They just made a character out of it. Jesus' death on a cross is metaphorical for us falling from the higher planes of consciousness into a material plane. We sacrificed all of the higher planes of consciousness only to experience the thin visible spectrum of light. This is the first dimension, the second dimension, and the third, length, height, and width. The cube is what gives birth to the material plane. So we are in the cube. This is up, down, front, back, left, and right. This is why the Jews wear the cube and the Mecca cube, and there are cubes all around the world. Cube unfolded is the cross, which is the Jesus cross, the body, because our consciousness died when it came here, because we suffered a loss of the higher planes of consciousness. The universe is created out of light. Low vibrating light turns into matter. High vibrating matter turns back into light. We are human. Hu means light. Man is manifested. We are light manifested into matter. The Bible says we're born into sin. Sin is sign, which is time, because we're born into a material plane where time exists. However, the elites worship the material world. They want to rule the material world and keep your mind stuck in third dimensional awareness. This is why they teach you this and evolution. And this is why they give you the false atom. They've trapped your mind in materialism because they've taught you that the universe is only physical. The chakras are not what you think. They are 7 vortexes which our consciousness feeds into our physical body. You have a mental, astral, etheric, and physical body. They exist within the etheric plane, which binds your spirit to your physical form. Hence why in the Bible they are known as the 7 seals. It states the Lamb is worthy of opening the 7th seal, because the Lamb is Aries, and Aries rules the head region to open the 7th seal, the 7th chakra. They're called the 7 seals because they seal your universal intelligence, your invisible consciousness. Stop working on your chakras and work on your mind, because your mind is the reason why your chakras are being abused or unbalanced. Each chakra has a vice which you need to turn to a virtue in order for them to be balanced. Saturn, Satan, the devil. This is why the devil's always red, because it's the root chakra, which is low frequency. This is to do with your survival. You descended from spirit to matter. Now you need to climb the stairway to heaven, which is your spine, and go from matter to spirit. Heaven is even. This is why Jesus is pointed at the heart chakra, which is the balance point. When your vortexes are balanced, you have a deeper connection with your universal intelligence. Your higher self will have an easier job manifesting itself throughout the body. The world is stuck in the lower 3 energy centers, lust, food, and power. Instead, we want to aim to use the higher parts of the body, expression, intuition, and wisdom. Jesus and Satan do not exist. This is a Adam and God do not touch. Adam represents your physical avatar. God is in the brain because God is consciousness. If you look at the earth from above, you will see this pattern. You will also see it on the earth, and you will see it inside of you. This proves there is a microcosm and a macrocosm. All things are in all things. And when God said, let us make humans in our image, in our likeness, this refers to as us being a microcosm of God. Your external physical world is generated from your invisible mind. The phone, the buildings, the cars that you have were manifested from pictures within the invisible mind. You are a creator. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Humans possess an advanced consciousness which can take something non-physical and manifest it into a physical reality. Your invisible self is God, but you think you are the body, which is Adam, the lower self. The early Christian artwork depict God is in the brain. Heaven is upwards, which is the head. It's the top of the body. The earth represents heart. This is the midpoint between good and evil. And your heel is hell. We need to kill the lower nature of ourself and live off the higher parts of the body. When you do something wrong, you can feel it inside of you. But invisible intelligence is always guiding you, and all you have to do is reach out to God, to touch God, the invisible intelligence, and become the higher self. Race doesn't exist. Your brain is not your mind. Your brain is a central processing computer which connects the 5 senses. You do not see into reality. Light is sucked through the eyes and the image is produced at the back of the brain. You are the consciousness experiencing the program being ran by the central nervous system. Europeans or white people live in an environment where there is not much sun, so their hair droops downwards to cover their necks for warmth. Melanin is a product of the sun. Their hair grows outwards towards the sun. People's bodies are a product of the environment they live in. I am you and you are me. We are all part of an infinite consciousness expressed in different bodies. The Egyptians knew this. The Ankh is the symbol for life. This is the one giving the life to all the different life forms and bodies. Every single one of you refers to yourself as I. I is the number 1, which is one line. We are all the one consciousness in different bodies. 1 is the only true number. Everything goes up in ones because we all come from the 1. The 7 colors come from the 1 white light. Everything is 1. You are the one observing your mind. This is your soul. Every single one of you is a soul. We are all the exact same infinite consciousness. Become a member of the Wisdom Academy. Use the code 4U for 26% off. Jesus never existed. Jesus symbolizes the sun with his 12 disciples, the 12 zodiac signs, 4 gospels for the 4 seasons of the sun. That's why he's called the risen savior, the light of the world, the Son of God. 7 days, 7 planets. They worship their God on Sunday because Jesus is the sun. Easter is actually called the Passover because this is when the sun passes the winter and enters Aries, when the sun springs things back into life, the summer. And this is when they eat lamb because lamb is Aries, the ram. The sun dies on the Southern Crux constellation, the cross, every year on the 22nd of December. On the 25th of December, it is born again every year because it moves 1 degree northward, bringing back the sun to the northern hemisphere. Jesus, the Son, was born a virgin every year, and this is why we celebrate Christmas. Horus, the Egyptian sun god, 12 disciples, born on the 25th, dead for 3 days and resurrected, did miracles and born a virgin. Same with Mithra. Judas stabs Jesus in the back and betrays him. The constellation Scorpio is a J for Judas, and when the sun hits Scorpio, this means the sun is now entering the winter, meaning it's going to die and become dead. So it's betrayed by the Scorpio, the constellation J. Here's Jesus walking on water. It's the sun. Sex is sacred energy exchange. S is the serpent. The most powerful emotion a human can feel is the sexual desire. Serpent symbolizes sexual energy, which are the 2 kundalini channels which go up from the base of the spine to the brain. Tree of knowledge of good and evil is the brain, the spine, the 2 hemispheres of the brain, masculine and feminine, and the serpent is the kundalini sexual energy. The serpent is tempting you to release your sacred energy, which is the forbidden fruit the serpent tempted Eve to eat. Resurrection of Jesus is metaphorical. Res meaning head, erection is sexual stimulation. The resurrection is raising the sexual energy from the base of the spine to the brain, the pineal gland. This then gives you the ability to use 100% of the brain. You can transmute this energy into critical thinking or awakening your third eye. We have all been sexually programmed since we were young because they are trying to reverse the genders. When a male releases, his estrogen levels go up. When a female releases, their testosterone goes up. Hence why the LGBT flag is the upside down colour spectrum. Red should be first, it's the lowest vibrational colour. Ancient mythology, there's always stories about killing the dragon or the serpents. This is symbolic for killing the lower nature of yourself because the serpent is always tempting you to release your sexual energy. It's an internal battle. Physical versions of the Book of Wisdom are now available. The link is in the bio to get. My new favourite thing to do is to show you how powerful you are. We are intelligently designed. The eyes contain 137 million cells within 1 square inch in the retina. To put this into perspective, this is 1 million dots and this is 1 square inch. And this is your retina. Your retina consists of 137 million cells. They say this is because of evolution, which is just another theory created by Charles Darwin, a Freemason. Everything physical you see comes from the invisible. Everything you see in the physical plane was manifested by the mind. The phone that you are holding was an idea in someone's mind before they manifested it physically. So therefore, the whole physical world that you see exists within the mind of God. Essentially, we are all existing in the mind of God, and we are all God fractured into separate bodies. This is why Michelangelo painted God within the brain, because the pineal gland is the connection to the mind, which is the divine or God. And one more thing before you go. If you don't believe in God, then you are delusional, because this painting was painted by a painter. Therefore, this physical world was manifested from the mind of God, and we are a microcosm of that mind, and we can use our minds to create things within God's creation. We are made in His image. We are a fracture. If you believe in evolution and know God, debate me. This symbolizes incarnation. Apples are torus field. Physical matter is a result of 2 opposing forces equalized on the plane of inertia, which is planet Earth, a flat plane. They want you to believe everything is physical when it's actually holographic. You descended from spirit to matter. You bit the forbidden fruit, the apple, the torus field, and incarnated into physical matter. The apple is the torus field, the home screen is the torus field. Apple Watch has the seed of life, which is a top-down view of a torus field. The word physical is phi cycle. The phi is the torus field. It's the cycle of the torus field. Birth, growth, decay, death, back into counter space and repeat. Infinity symbol comes from the torus field, which is the number 8. God, Allah, Elohim adds up to 8 because in John 1:5 it says God is light. The torus field is 1 unit of light. Everything is created out of light. Life is light. In Him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. John 1:4. The outforce, male. The inforce, female. The atom that creates this reality is dualistic. Hence why everything has 2 sides, good, evil, fun and boredom. The torus field is red and blue. Why do you think everything's red and blue? Roses are red, violets are blue. You chose to incarnate into physical matter. The link is in the bio for the Book of Wisdom. Corinthians 6:19-20. Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you? Tem means a place of worship. El is an ancient Canaanite name for God. The sides of the head region are referred to as temples. The head is the temple of God. Is this why the early Christians were showing God is in the brain, touching Adam? Genesis 32:30, Jacob called the name Peniel, where he's seen God face to face, which sounds a lot like the pineal gland. Maybe this is why Luke 17:12 says the kingdom of God is within you. The power symbol upside down is the neck and the brain. Res means head, erection means sexual stimulation, resurrection is raising a sexual energy from the base of the spine up to the head, which is heaven. Heart rearranged is earth, heel is hell. Heaven, earth, and hell correspond with the three higher, middle, and lower brains. Jesus and Satan is an internal battle between the higher and the lower self, which was Horus and Set in the Egyptian times. Ark of the Covenant is the two angels covering, which is the two hemispheres covering the flame of the mind in the center of the brain. It is all meant to be taken internally, not externally. We need to wake up, people. Veganism rearranged is saving me because consuming electrical foods feeds your spirit, which is your spiral, your spiraling electromagnetic field, because you're a biological battery, hence why you get charged in a court. Every cell in your body, every 90 days, transforms into the foods that you've been eating. Consumption of rotten flesh has no electromagnetism behind it. The fruit is electric and full of light. Lions' intestines are shorter. Our teeth are not made to rip open flesh. Meat-eating animals only live up to 15 years. Vegan animals live up to 40 years. Why do you think the Bible talks about humans living over 500 years? All of the geniuses of the past were all vegan. Humans possess a trichromatic vision, which means we are pretty much attracted to seek colors naturally, because our brains are wired to seek colorful food. Each animal and every being has specific qualities in its DNA. For example, bears are ferocious and strong. Camels have the ability to walk thousands of miles, and cats are majestic and sneaky. When you eat these animals, you are eating the virtues of that animal. You literally are what you eat. Meat is flesh, cheese is rotten milk, and eggs are fetuses. These terms have been created to conceal the true nature of what you are actually consuming. You do not see into reality. Light enters the eyes and the image is produced in the visual cortex. The world you see around you is actually within you. You are consciousness experiencing the program being ran by the central nervous system and the brain. There are two major systems in the body. The tree of life, the cardiovascular system, giving life to the physical body. The tree of knowledge of good and evil, the nervous system. You do not experience the external world. You experience electrical impulses on your nervous system, which gives your mind, your consciousness, the knowledge of good and evil. You are the Temple of Solomon, the temple of the soul and the mon, the sun and the moon, the soul and the mind. The sun is the soul, the moon is the mind. This is why we say lunatic. Luna is moon. And inside of your mind, you have a specific mood, which is moon. The soul system is within you. It's the 7 chakras, the 7 planets. The cycles of the sun being summer and winter happens within the body, because you are a miniature world. In the summer, you feel better and you gain better ideas. In the winter, you feel less alive. I am you and you are me. It's a universe, a unite verse. Everything is one. We are all one consciousness, one mind, in separate physical bodies. The link is in the bio for the Book of Wisdom. Words are secretly encoded, and they cast spells on your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind takes everything you say as diet has the word die, because the food they tell you to eat nowadays makes you sick. Meat has the word eat, which is a subconscious spell for you to consume blood and flesh, because consuming this food keeps you stuck in third-dimensional awareness, in the lowest state of consciousness. Veganism is an anagram for saving me, because when you stop consuming flesh, your consciousness can raise past the 3D construct. Animals are easily programmed and tamed like a pet, and this is why they want you to consume it, because you are what you eat. Your cells every 90 days turn into the food that you've consumed. This is why the population is aging at a rapid rate, because the food that we are consuming is dead. When we eat electrical live foods, we age less. Slaughter has the word laughter, because they want you to laugh at the slaughtering of animals. Words create perception, and the food industry utilize more neutral words to create a better perception in your mind. Instead of saying beef flesh, they say beef mince. Or instead of saying a chicken fetus, they say egg. Or rotten cheese is milk. The devil is red because it's the lowest vibrational color, which is the root chakra. The root chakra is all to do with survival mode. In order for you to survive, you will kill and be in your animal nature. This is why the so-called devil has a goat head. The same goat you see in the music industry. This is why you call them the goat. They have not sold their soul to Satan. Satan is a demonic energy within the astral plane. These have exchanged money in order for them to portray and manifest negative energy through the music, so that they keep you in your lower states of consciousness in the root chakra. Music is frequency, and whatever you listen to, you are becoming that frequency. And the words that they say in the music are staying within your subconscious mind, which manifests your behavior. The devil's tail is a triangle pointing down because it's a part of your Merkaba, ascension and descension. Devil's tail is the downward triangle. Your Merkaba is your light body. Mer equals light, Ka equals spirit, Ba equals body. Merkaba. It's your celestial sphere to portray different planes of reality. The devil's tail is the descension. Your head is heaven, your heel is hell. God, your consciousness is in the brain. If you have this PDF, I've added new pages, just re-download it. The link is in the bio. You're stuck within the cage, the rib cage. You're in a prison cell because you're made out of cells. You are hexed in physical matter. This is the X, the hex. The hexagram's a cube unfolded is the cross. You need to escape the physical world, the three-dimensional matrix, which is the world of Satan. Because Satan gives you the mark of the beast, the physical body, the 666 carbon suit, and then blinds your mind. Your mind is completely separate from the physical world. Through physical pleasures and lack of understanding of yourself, you think your mind is part of your physical body, when in reality they are two separate things. Your mind is completely separate from your physical body. The physical world is a dimension within your mind. Men means mind, mental. Mind in Latin means mens. In order to escape the three-dimensional physical world, you have to fully detach your mind from your body. Meditation is key in transcending the 3D world and traveling the depths of your mind. Mind and matter is one. They are different dimensions within your mind. When you dream, your mind creates matter. This is why mind and matter are one. The cube is the shape that gives rise to physical matter. The link is in my bio for the Book of Wisdom, paperback and PDF. The toroidal field is a multi-dimensional energy pattern. It is a universal blueprint in which all energy and matter manifests. It can be visualized as a donut-shaped configuration where energy is in a continuous loop. The central axis in which the energy goes in and then back out is called the hyperboloid. And this corresponds with our spines. Our spines are also a hyperboloid for this electromagnetic torus field. The flow of energy within our torus field and our body follows the same principles that govern the larger universal patterns. Thoughts and emotions are also forms of energy which manifest through our electromagnetic torus field. A stone thrown into water will create ripples, which will create incandescent circles which travel outward. This is the two-dimensional representation of how we visualize sound waves. In three-dimensional space, sound waves propagate in all directions, which creates a spherical wave front. When these sound waves expand, they create the torus field shape. When we speak, we create vibrational waves which expand in all directions into torus fields. And this is why talking is called talk, torus fields. The words we say have an effect on other people's fields and your fields itself, affecting reality in all directions. Porn drains your sexual energy, which is your orange chakra, and this is why it's orange. Sexual energy takes over the mind and influences your body. This is why it's the most potent emotion the human can feel. It is symbolized as the serpent tempting you to eat the fruit, because it's tempting you to release your sacred fluids. Sexual transmutation is transmuting the sexual energy into other aspects of your life. It can either be kundalini, critical thinking, or even the gym. The spine has two coils wrapped around it, which is the energy channels for your kundalini to go up to the brain. The resurrection of Christ is nothing but a metaphor for rise erection, rising your erection sexual energy to the pineal gland to activate 100% of our brains, to activate Christ consciousness. This is known as being born again and seeing the kingdom of God in John 3:3 for the 33 vertebrae on your spine. Your sexual fluids have a strong energy behind them, and this energy can create a whole new human being. So imagine how powerful that is if you retained it. We become mentally, physically, and spiritually stronger by holding this fluid. This is why it's free, because it makes you weak. You are the product. Stars are portals that lead into the astral plane. This is why the word astral has star within it. As above, so below. Whatever happens in the astral happens in the physical. It's a mirror. And this is why the Masons have the 2 pillars. It represents the number 11. As above, so below. The mirroring effect of reality. And this is why astrology is so important, because it can foretell the future. The Bible even says this, and let there be light in the firmament of the heaven, and let them be for signs. This is why God says in Job, can you lead forth the Mazzaroth, which means 12 signs? Do you know the audience of the heavens? Can you establish their rule on the earth? The stars foretell the future on the earth. They rule over the earth. Above your head is a giant clock which foretells everything you need to know. A month is a moonth because the moon travels around the 12 signs every 28 days. The sun tells the time of day. Stars foretell the time of year. Every single one of you is born into a specific alignment into the stars and planets. This is why everyone is different, and this is why everyone is on a different path. By finding out your personal chart, you can figure out certain events in your life. If you want a reading, you can now get them on my website. The link is in the bio. The sun is electric, the moon is magnetic. The sun gives you energy, the moon takes your energy. Male and female. The moon governs liquids on the earth and in your body. This is why the tides on the ocean follow the moon. The menstrual cycle is the moonstral cycle. It takes 14 days for the moon to wax or wane to a full or new moon. It takes 14 days for the egg to become mature in the ovaries. A month is a moonth. The moon travels around the zodiac every 28 days. Body, mind and soul. The earth is your body, the moon is your mind, the sun is your soul. The moon is your mind. This is why we say lunatic, or in your mind you have a specific mood, which is moon. You can use the moon to your advantage. Start a new project or a new chapter in your life when there is a new moon, because then it'll be growing with you. We do not live on a spinning ball in space. Everything is divinely created. The yin and yang is the sun and the moon, the day and night, good and evil. We live in a dualistic realm, people. This book is going to give you the knowledge so that you can understand yourself and the realm you are in. The link is in the bio to get your hard copy, or you can get the PDF. There is worldwide. Let's break down the $1 bill. The eye in the triangle. There are 4 planes of consciousness: mental, astral, etheric and physical. The etheric is the barrier between the physical and the spirit realm, symbolized as the triangle. I symbolizes the invisible intelligence, the observing consciousness inside of the brain. Your invisible intelligence has the ability to see through the ether, the triangle, into the physical and the spirit realms. Jesus in French is I am. The letter I is the number 1, which is 1 line. Inside of you is your internal invisible self, your invisible intelligence, where your insight is created. Our consciousness, our invisible intelligence is God. This is why the ancient Christians show God is in the middle of the brain. The body and the physical realm is split into duality, 1 and 2, but your invisible intelligence is the 1. This is why this symbol is on the $1 bill. The 1 is in between the 2. Your invisible intelligence, the I am, your consciousness, is in between the 2 hemispheres of the brain. This book is called the Book of Wisdom. There are paperbacks and PDFs available. The link is in my bio. There is worldwide shipping. There is a hidden meaning behind this symbolism that astronauts do. Warning, this information is not for everyone and your mind might just be altered after watching this. It symbolizes speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Your external world that you look into is actually truly internal. Light enters the eyes and it goes to the visual cortex at the back of the brain, and this is what produces the image that we see. Light is a form of wave. It is a light wave, and light waves carry information. This information is given to the visual cortex, and then the visual cortex creates the image. The information carried on the wave of light has an effect on your brain and then has an effect on the whole of your central nervous system and your cells. This is why you feel darkness within you when you see something very sensitive. Because what we see, hear and say has an effect on our whole central nervous system and our cells. So this is why you should never speak, see or hear no evil. The fluids in your body are in a cycle, a rhythm with the moon, because the moon affects the liquids in your body. This is why women have a menstrual cycle, moonstral cycle, every month. So the full moon is a high energy. This is when the liquids in your body are being pulled the most by the celestial moon. Sun is masculine, the moon is feminine, emotion and intellect. So the emotion is being affected by the moon, which is our mood. So on a full moon, this is when the lunatics come out. When the moon enters the sign that you were born in, your sun sign, a sacred fluid is released from the brain down to the spine, and we must raise this up the 33 vertebrae of our spine to be crucified in the skull, Golgotha. The planets are not physical rocks, they are energies which influence the earth and our bodies, our consciousness. Astrology is so important, and this is why the ancients mapped the celestial constellations. This book has everything you need to know. The link is in my bio. The Book of Wisdom PDF or paperback.